Okay, so now we'll start with your notes. Okay, so as somebody told, what is transition metals? Anybody? What is the definition of transition metals? Those who are belonging to D block elements. Okay, D block elements, or their last, or the last cell is your last suborbital is your D orbitals where the electrons are filled. Okay, so these are your transition metals. Okay, now we'll see about that. We'll study and the main contents include like your transition metals. Okay, then fast through transitions metals, coordination compounds. Okay, how they are forming some compounds or coordinated compounds, isomerism, and how the isomerism is there in your transition metals, and bonding in complex ions. Okay, in how the bonding, then crystal field model. Okay, then biological importance of coordination will study today, and one is your metallurgy, iron and steel production, where it is applied. Okay, now as I told, what is transition metals? It's so mainly similarities within a given period as well as within a given vertical group. In a periodical table, it will show so many similarities where it is. As you can see, this is the transition metal elements. As you can see, okay. So now you can see this one, the different groups, like different columns, like your in your periodic 3b, 4b, 5b, 6b, 7b, then 8b. It is consisting of your three different columns. Next, 1 and 2b. Okay, so this is the 3a, 4a, 5a, 6a, 7a, 8a. These are the different columns of the periodic table. Out of that, we can tell this 3b, 4b, 5b, 6b, 7b, 8b. It is three different groups, 1b, then 2b. Okay, and again you can see here some lanthanide and actinide series. You can see here lanthanide, you can 57, and these are coming under at the bottom. We are showing this one. So 58 to 71. Okay, lanthanide series, as you can see, and one is actinide series, that is your 103. You can see. Okay, so these two series are F block elements, and these are known as your what, inner transition elements. As you can see, D block elements and F block elements variable, these are mainly known as your transition elements and inner transition elements. Okay, question: which of the elements or which of the series are known as inner transition elements? What is the answer? Which of the elements in periodic table, or which series of elements in periodic table are coming under inner transition elements? Anybody, any answer? Right. So block elements, right? Now, as you can see, you have to remember all these values. Okay, from starting from your 3b, mainly what are the elements present? As you can see here, scandium, yttrium, lanthanide, okay, actinide, all these things. Okay, okay, 3b to 2b. Okay, these are mainly your main transition elements. Okay, but F block is known as your inner transition. Okay, now we'll see. And what he said, these are having similar properties during the column, or you can say in the series also. Okay, in the rows and in the columns, they are having very similar properties. That only he said. So we inserted this one, D block elements. Okay, now you can see here all this. Okay, so this one. Now, orbital occupancy, how these are. Okay, one series I will show you. Okay, period 4 transition metal, as you can see, scandium. In that, what is happening, the last part is going to your 3D series. As I told, here is occupied with 1 electrons, unpaired electrons. Here it is occupied with your 2 unpaired electrons. As you can see, titanium. Vanadium, you can see the last orbital or 3 orbitals, it is occupied with your 3 unpaired electrons. Okay, and down the series you can say the unpaired electrons are increasing, 3, 6. Okay, you can see chromium. Okay, the element I'll show you so that you'll be able to understand. Okay, now you can see here scandium. So down the through the series, I'm showing you how the last d orbital is occupied with different elements. Okay, now you can see here. Okay, scandium 1, titanium 2, vanadium 3, chromium 6, manganese 5, iron is your 4, okay, cobalt 3, nickel 2, copper 1, 0, your zinc is your 0, no unpaired electrons. All are filled, all d orbitals are filled. Question will come. Which of the transition element is having 0 unpaired electrons in the d orbital? Okay, which of the following elements? Which one? As you can see, Zn. Zinc is having your what? Last d is occupied with your 0 unpaired electrons. That they are not having any unpaired electrons. So which one? Zinc. Okay. Next. As I have shown, this is one example. Okay. Now, multiple oxidation states. How they are showing multiple oxidation states? Okay, one element can show different multiple oxidation state, like your manganese. Manganese is one of the transition element. What is the oxidation state of that? It is showing different oxidation state in different pH range. Okay. Now you can see here oxidation state. Your 3b series will see scandium. Scandium is having 0. You can see all this. Okay. So you can see this one oxidation state is your +1. This one scandium, or +2 also it is showing oxidation state. +3 when it is showing. +4 when it is. So these elements can show state. Out of that, manganese will show. Manganese, what is the general oxidation state actually? 7 actually. Okay. So how it is changing, I will show you some example. Different oxidation state. Okay. Now you see your manganese, your KMnO4. You know KMnO4. Okay, what is that? Potassium permanganate. Okay, so what is the formula for this one? Potassium permanganate. Okay, and what is the oxidation state of KMnO4? Anybody? What is the oxidation state of manganese? Anybody? Here, oxidation state of manganese. Nobody? What is the oxidation state of manganese? Right, we'll see what is the oxidation state. 7, very good. So how you have calculated? Oxygen is minus, oxygens are there. So 4 into -2, that is -8. Okay, 1 potassium is there. For potassium it is +1. So -8 + 1, how much? -7. And as a whole compound it is 0 oxidation state. So what is the oxidation state? -8 means, -7 means it should be +7. So manganese is here +7. Okay, and when, I'll tell you, when it is converted into different compounds, okay, like here I'm showing you, generally your KMnO4 is a, what type of reagent it is? KMnO4, it is one oxidizing reagent. Okay, oxidizing reagent, it helps in oxidation. Okay, now I'll show you the reaction, how it is showing different reaction and how it is showing different oxidation state when it is forming different. Now just a minute. Okay. Now I'll show you. Okay, this KMnO4 it is +7. So it is to either here MnO2 -2 it is converted when it is oxidized, when it is means what? KMnO4 it's a reagent, and when it is reacting with your, what is that? Iron. Okay, it is reacting with your Fe2 plus, it is 2 plus 2, your Fe3 plus, as you see here, increasing. Okay, oxidation 3, it is increasing +2 to +3. So we can say KMnO4 is oxidation of this one, iron to Fe3 plus. Okay, and simultaneously it is reduced. It is also reduced. This is oxidizing agent. It helps in oxidation, but it will be reduced to what? MnO2 2-. So MnO2 2- means how much the oxidation state? As you know, oxygen -2. -2 into 2, how much it is? -4. So -4 means manganese should be +4, but it is occupied with your -2. So how much the oxidation state here? +2. Oxidation state of manganese is your plus 2. As you can see, manganese oxidation state from 7 it is reduced to plus 2, and for iron from plus 2 to it is increased by 1. So it is oxidized plus 2. So you can say, what is the change in oxidation state here? The change in oxidation state is your how much? It is around your plus 2, plus 7 to plus 2. So here it is showing, as you can say, plus 7. Here it is showing plus 2. Okay, so different oxidation state it is showing. Okay, one more example I will show you. Okay, this one you understood this reaction. So you can write down this Fe2 plus KMnO4 reacting. It is giving rise to your MnO2 2 minus and Fe3 plus. Okay, all of you written. So here manganese it is showing different oxidation state like your plus 7 and plus 2. Okay, now all of you understood? Yes. So how it is showing the oxidation state? This reaction written, all of you? Written all of you. Shall I go to the next reaction, another one reaction? Like your KMnO4 also it is converted into your KMnO4, it is also converted into your K2MnO4. Okay, K2MnO4. As you can see here, what is the oxidation state? Can you tell me? Plus 7. So in case of K2MnO4, what is the oxidation state of manganese? Anybody? What is the oxidation state of manganese? What is the oxidation state of manganese K2MnO4? Nobody? No? Find out the oxidation state of manganese in K2MnO4. In KMnO4 it is plus 7. In K2MnO4 how much? What is the oxidation state of manganese? Are you there? Are you able to listen me or not? Are you able to hear me? Okay. So what is the oxidation state? Tell me. Yes, then tell me the answer. What is the oxidation state of manganese? Okay, very good. 6. So how you got this one? Minus, this oxygen is your minus 2. So 4 into minus 2, how much? Minus 8. So it is your potassium is your plus 1. So 2 potassium, so plus 2. Minus 8 plus 2. How much? It is minus 6. So it should be plus 6. Okay. So as you can see here it is existing in 6. So now able to see how many oxidation state of manganese? Plus 7, plus 6, plus 2. Okay. So like that, plus 3, plus 4 also it is existing. Okay. And one more, it is also converted into that is your MnO2. It is converted into your MnO2. So in MnO2, what is the oxidation state? Can you tell? In oxidation, what is the oxidation manganese in manganese dioxide? Anybody? What is the oxidation state of manganese in manganese dioxide? No, you are taking too much time. Should be answered very quickly. As you are preparing for some competitive exam, you should be very quick to find out this one. Okay, how much this one will soon see? Okay, 4. So now you can see here it is your plus 4. Okay. So as you can see, oxygen is your, for 1 oxygen it is minus 2 into 2, that is minus 4. So it should be plus 4. So as you can see, manganese can exist as 7, 6. Okay. And as you've seen 2 state, it can stay. So that is why it is telling it can stay in your multiple oxidation. Now that one only I want to say. Okay. As you can see for manganese, okay, it is existing in plus 2, plus 3 state, plus 4 state, plus 5 state, plus 6 state, plus 7 state also. So it can exist in 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 oxidation state. Okay, 7 different types of oxidation state it can stay. Okay, as titanium, it can stay in 3 different oxidation state. That is 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Vanadium, as you can see, this can stay in your means your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 oxidation state, 1 to 5. So remember all this table. Okay, manganese can stay in 7 oxidation states. Okay, your scandium can stay only in 1 oxidation state, that is your plus 3. Okay, so these values you have to remember, and as you can see, can stay with your oxidation state plus 2. Okay, only 1 oxidation state. So question will come, which of the following element can stay in 1 oxidation state? Okay, and your I'll give you the option, that is your scandium, titanium, vanadium, and chromium. Can you tell me the answer? Which of the following element can stay in 1 oxidation state? Okay, very good. So scandium, very good. Now, so Diksha, you are able to understand all this, whatever I am explaining now? Okay. Now, you are writing all this oxidation state, whatever the oxidation state, and which element can stay in one, how many oxidation state also you have written. Okay. Now, next, properties of group 6b elements. Okay. Now we'll see out of that one 6b we'll see. In 6b, which are there? Chromium, all these are there. So we'll see of that particular group, what are the different nature of that. Okay, 6b. Okay, so 6b constitutes what elements? Can you tell me, anybody? 6b, as you can see here, chromium, molybdenum, tungsten, and this one. Okay, so these elements, these 4 different characteristics of those things. Okay, 6b. Okay, so elements, what are the different properties? As you can see, chromium, what is the atomic radius? These are the atomic radius, almost similar. Okay, and you can say what is the energy required for this one, what is the energy of that one. Okay, as you can see, 653 kilojoule per mole per 1 oxidation, and you can say these are the redox potential. Okay, as you can see, and electronegativity, as I told you, electronegativity increase down the column. Okay, if it will having less electronegativity values, means the, as you can see, minus 0.74 plus 0.20 minus 0.11. So down the series, the electronegativity value decrease. Okay, in case of 6b elements. Okay, it's very important questions. Okay, in 6b elements, transitions elements, the electronegativity values down the series increasing, decreasing, remaining same, or not up? No. All the above. Any answer? Tell me. In 6b elements down the series, the electronegativity increases, decreases, or remains same. Tell me the answer. What will be the answer? Yes, very good. Increases. Yes. Electronegativity increases or decreases? Tell me. Yes, increases. Very good. Now, so valence state electronegativity we'll see. Okay. What is electronegativity? Electron pulling power. Electronegativity means what? With what ease it can pull the electrons. Okay. It can pull the electrons. And valence state, metal in higher oxidation state is more positive. Okay. Higher oxidation state means suppose manganese at +7 is more electropositive, means it is having more electropositive character. Okay. Electronegativity is less. Okay. And has strong pull on electrons. So if it is having high positive charge, so it can pull also your what? High stronger your electrons, means it can pull more electrons towards itself. Okay. As it is having high electropositivity. Okay. More positivity means more attractive power should be there to the electrons. Okay. So that it says. So what is the main theme we got from here? With what? With high electropositivity or with high oxidation state will be having high electropositivity or will be high pulling power for the electrons. Am I clear? Okay. Next. So oxidation states of manganese I have shown you as. Okay. Mn2 plus it is staying. Mn2O3, MnO2, MnO4 2 minus as I shown you. MnO4 minus. Okay. So as you can see, your oxidation state in this case it is +2. Here it is -6. Here it is how much in this case? As you can see, we can calculate. Okay. What is the oxidation state? In this case, what is the oxidation state? Mn2O3. Anyone? In Mn2O3, what is the oxidation state? Anybody? Yes, very good. In this case, Mn2O3 plus 3. Okay. How? -6 this is. -6 means this should be +6. So divided by 2. How much it is? +3. Okay. Here what is? -4. So it is +4. Okay. And in this case -8. So +8. So +6. This is Mn4O4 this one. So here +6. And here -8 +8 7. MnO4 minus. So this is +7 as you can see. Okay. KMnO4. So you can see with increase in oxidation state, the acidic character also increasing. You can see with increase in oxidation state, the acidic character also increasing from basic to acidic. So you can say Mn2 plus is basic, then your MnO4 2 minus or MnO4 minus. So you can remember one thing here, with increase in oxidation state, the basicity is decreases and acidity is increases. Got my point? What I said? So now I'll ask, okay, can you tell me? Oh, yes. So you can tell with is in oxidation state, the basicity decreases or alkalinity decreases and acidity increases. So tell me right now one question. One question you tell me, out of two compounds side and your KMnO4. So which one is more acidic and which one is more basic? Out of these two compounds, MnO, manganese oxide, and KMnO4, which one is more acidic? Tell me. and why? Which one is more acidic and why? Okay, KMnO4 is more acidic. Why? Because why? Yes, because oxidation state of KMnO4 is 7, whereas manganese here oxidation state is +2. Okay, so as it is having more oxidation state, so this is more oxidate or more acidic than this one. Am I clear? Okay, and one more thing. This is coordination compound. Okay, what is coordination compound? It will form one complex counter ions, or you can say which one, ligand. Okay, so now you can see one of the transition metal is there, cobalt. It is forming a metal complex with some elements, as you can see here. These are the counter ions. Complex ion formed here, CONH3 whole 5 plus. This is the Cl2 plus ion it is forming. Okay, where this cobalt is reacting with ammonia and it is reacting with your chlorine to form this complex. Okay, and as you can see, what is the oxidation state here? Okay, it is the oxidation state +3. Okay, and overall oxidation state much, NH3 it is as a whole it is 0. It's a compound, so 0. Cl minus is having oxidation state how much? -1. So plus -1 how much? +2. So you can say overall what is the oxidation state of this one? We can write the oxidation state is your +2. 2 plus. Got my point, all of you? How we are calculating oxidation state of a particular compound? Okay, so this is the way how to calculate. For cobalt it is +3. For ammonia it is a molecule. So as you can say, also compound, ammonia compound. So ammonia compound is having as a whole oxidation state should be 0. 5 moles are there. So 5 into cobalt is 1. So 1 into +3. Chlorine how much it is? -1 and 1 is there. Okay, so as you can say 1 into -1. So total oxidation state will be +2. Got my point? Okay. Now forming ionic compounds. Okay, before that I'll tell you how it is forming some complex. Okay, how it is forming one complex with your, or these transition metals, how they are forming complex with some atoms, with some complexing reagent. Okay, they are forming some complex with some complexing reagent. So as we can see here, one metal is there, is reacting with one that is called ligand. So what is that? It is forming your Ml complex. What is that? Ml complex. It is forming one ligand complex. So ligand means what? This is a complexing reagent with what the metal will react and will form one complex. Okay. And when the metal water soluble complex or water insoluble complex, ligand called sequestering agent. Got my point? What is that? Sequestering agent. Okay, all of you got my point. What is sequestering agent? Sequestering agent. All of you got? And when the metal will form by reacting with ligand one water insoluble complex, the ligand is to be chelating. What is that called? Chelating agent. Okay, so that is called chelating agent. Okay, so now, so the ligand is classified into what? Two types. What is that? One is sequestering agent, one is chelating agent. So what is the work of sequestering agent? With reacting with your sequestering agent, it will water soluble complex, and when the ligand or when the metal will react with one water insoluble complex, that ligand is known as chelating agent. Have you cleared? And example of sequestration, what is that? EDTA. What is that EDTA? Can anybody tell EDTA? EDTA is a sequestering agent. What is the full form for EDTA, or what for it stands? And for chelating agent, I am giving you example, that is salicyl doxine. What is that? Okay. Salicyl doxine. Salicyl doxine. Okay. What is that? EDTA? It's a polydentate ligand. Okay, diamine tetraacetic acid. Very good. So that is where now you have cleared what is metal ligand means. What it is, a binding agent. Okay, and this ligand is of two types. One is your sequestering agent and one is your chelating agent. And when it is said to be sequestering agent, when it is forming water soluble complex, and when it is forming water insoluble complex, that is known as your chelating agent. Okay, and sequestering agent example ADT, ethylene diamine tetraacetic acid, and chelating agent example doxyne. Okay, salicyl doxyne. Okay, here all of you. Shall I move to the next slide? Have you written all these examples? And what is sequestering agent? What is chelating agents? All of you written? Right. Very good. Now, okay. So now whatever we have seen right now, it will form some metal coordinated complex. So that is called one complex. How it is formed? Done some reagent with reacting some your ligand or counter ions, you can say. Okay. So now you can see here the transition metals generally exhibit more than oxidation state. As I said, you have seen example, it can stay in 7 oxidation state. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so a lot of oxidation state it can stay. Okay, all the transition metals except which elements can, except which two elements can stay in more than one oxidation state. Which elements will stay in only one oxidation state? Now my question, this one. Can you be able to answer? Okay, I'll see. Scandium. Okay, another one I told you also. What is that? Another one element also I told, which can stay in one oxidation state. No? Forgotten? No answer? Two elements I have shown you. One is scandium, another one which can stay in one oxidation state. Forget? Okay, very good. Zinc. Okay. Should not forget. Forgetting, then after some days what you will do? Should have to remember all this. Okay. Next, forming ionic compounds. Okay, now we'll see how it is forming ionic compounds. Okay. Now as you can see here, transition metals generally exhibit more oxidation state, more than one oxidation state. Cations are often complex ions species where the transition metal ion is surrounded by a certain number of ligands. As I told you, it is surrounded by some certain number of ligands. As you can see here, this is the cobalt. It is surrounded by 6 ammonia molecules. Okay, so these are the counter ions, 6 ammonia ligands with what it will be attached and it will form complex. Okay, as you can see, CONH3 whole 6. Okay, so CONH3 whole 6 plus 3 iron. Okay, what is the oxidation state will be plus 3. Ammonia, it is 0. That's why whatever the oxidation state of cobalt is there, it will be there on the molecule, on the complex. So what is the oxidation state of cobalt? Cobalt nitrate complex. So ammonium cobalt complex, this is your plus 3. As you can see, this is the central atom cobalt. Okay, 6 ammonia molecules are then see. So this central big atom is there now. So these are your nitrogen atom. Each nitrogen is attached with your 3 hydrogen, as you can see. Okay, attached to the central nitrogen atom, and this central atom is your this is the cobalt. Okay, this is a cobalt nitrate complex, cobalt and ammonia complex. Got my point? All of you understood how it is formed and how the bond formation is there, as you can see here. Okay, now ionic compounds with transition metals. Most compounds are colored because the transition metal ion in the complex ion can absorb visible light of specific wavelengths. And many compounds are paramagnetic. As I told, paramagnetic means it will stay either in positive half spin or negative half spin. Non-unpaired electrons will be there. Okay. So this transition metal can can show ESR. Understood my point? So right now understood why transition metals are showing or are responding to the electron are paramagnetic in nature. Okay. So that's why the transition metals are responding to the electron spin resonance spectroscopy. Okay. And as I told, why, and most of the transition metals will form some colored complex. Why it is forming colored complex? Because it is observed light. Visible light. What is the range of visible light? Anybody? Visible light. What is the range of visible light? Okay. Now we'll see 800 nanometer. So the transitions metals will observe the 400 to 800 nanometer. That's why it will show color radiations. Okay. That's why it will form colored complex. Okay. Now we'll see the electron configurations of some element as I have shown you there. For vanadium, the last cell, this is your argon. Okay. What is the electronic configuration of argon? It is there. After that, it will go to the 4s2. Okay. And next it will go to the 3d3. Okay. Next you can see here for iron, it is same like your argon, then 4s2 and 3d6. Exceptions are your chromium and copper. Chromium and copper because 3d orbitals are occupied with your all with your paired electrons, no unpaired electrons. Now, as you can see here, chromium. Sorry, what is the exception? You can see here 4s1 3d5 means here s orbitals on vacant. Okay, remains what? Vacant, as you can see, not filled with 2 electrons. Okay, as you know, your s orbital can occupy 2 electrons, but here it will go to s1, and for 3d it will go 5. And here also the same thing, copper 4s1 and 3d10. These are the exceptions, as you can see. Okay, so question will come: which of the following elements are in which the s orbital remains unfilled? Can you tell me which of the following elements s orbital remains unfilled? Options are vanadium, iron, chromium, and copper. What is the answer? Chromium and copper. You have to remember all this, right? Now, so see, whatever the question I am telling you, very much important. So you can make it as a question, and you can mark it as important when you are studying, when you are listening on this, when you are attending my classes. Okay. Now, electron configurations of fast row transition not have 4s electrons. Okay. Fast row transition metals, they don't have any 4s electrons. We'll see what are the fast row transition elements. What are those? Can you tell me, anybody? We'll go to the table, periodic table, so that you will be able to remember. You can remind. Okay. The fast row elements, as you can see, they are not having any electrons in s orbital. First row, you can see scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc, all this. Okay. As you can see here, see, scandium. Okay. They are filled. Okay. Unpaired electrons, as you can see. Okay. Now, we'll see. Okay. The fast row transition metals don't have 4s electrons. They don't have any 4s electrons. Okay. And energy of 3d orbitals is less than that of the 4s orbital. Okay. Next you can say, you know the configurations, how the configurations will be there. As you know, some rules are there. What is that? You can write down S, sorry, this is 2s, this is 2s, 3s, 3p, 3d, s, 4p, this 4s, 4p and 4d, 4f. This is, we can write down 1s. Okay, can you tell how the electron configurations will be there? How the electrons will go to different? What is the order of energy levels? What is the order of orbitals where the electrons will move? Okay, what can you tell me the order? Anybody? How the electrons will be accommodated in different orbitals? Which orbital will be given first preference? That order I want. Anybody? Nobody? Okay. Now 1s, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3p, 4s, 3t. Very good. So you can draw the figure like that. Okay. P, 3s, 3p, 4s, then 4s, then 4d, then 4 like that. The order is like that. Understood my point? So you have to remember this order. Okay. You have to remember this order. And as I said, electron configurations, first row transition metals, ion don't have 4s electrons. Okay, whatever the first row transition metals are there, they don't have any 4s electrons. Energy of the 3 orbital, as I told you, yes. Okay, energy of 3D orbital is, as you can say, 4s. That's why, as you can see, the orbit, as I told you, why the energy is less of 3D than that of the 4s. Can you tell me what you are guessing? Can you tell me? Next I'll tell you. Why the energy is less in case of 3D than that of the 4s. Anybody? Three D is having more energy. No. Check it. It is going like your 1s, order of preference, 2s, 2p, 3s, 3t, 3s, 4s, 4d, 4f, 4p, 4t, 4n. So order of energy 1s, 2s, 2p, then 3d, then 4s. 3d is having more energy. Okay. So wrongly I have written here. Energy of 3d orbital is having more energy than that of the 4s orbital. Okay. So first 3d will be occupied, then the electrons will go to the 4s. Okay. 3d will have more energy. Right. So wrongly it is. Okay. So what is the question? 3d is having why more energy? Why it is having more energy? No guessing? Why? 3D is having more energy than that of 4s. It depends upon anybody. Tell me. I have shown you in your ESR also. Electron spin resonance spectroscopy. I shown there also. Why 3D is having more energy than that of 4s? Anybody? Okay, we'll see right now what you are answering. N plus 1 rule, Diksha is telling. Okay, N plus 1 rule means what? Number of unpaired electrons. That is one factor. Okay. In case of number of unpaired electrons, in case of your d orbital, means 3d orbital is more. And in case of s orbital, the number of unpaired electrons is very less. That's why the energy level will be more, or energy will be more in case of 3d. And second point is spin state also. Spin state in case of 3D orbital is your plus half, whereas in case of 4s is your minus half. That is also one reason why 3D orbital is having more energy than that of your 4s. Got my point, all of you? What is the reason behind that? All of you clear? Okay. Now we'll see right now atomic radii of the 3D, 4D and 5D transition series. Atomic radii. What are the different atomic radii? As you can see here, slightly you can see here. These are the different radii. This is the series. This is the yttrium. This is the scandium. And as you can see, scandium is having very less atomic radii. Okay, these are the three first series 3D, second series that is 4D, third series is your 5D. As you can see, this is the 5D. This is the second series that is 4D, and this is the first series that is 3D. So 3D, okay, 4D and 5D. Okay, for 3D having less radii, atomic radii than that of your 4D, and your 5D is having your highest atomic radii. Okay, that's why these are placed in your group 5D. Got my point? Okay. Now 3D transitions metals. What are these? 3D transition metals are, as you can see here, scandium. Okay, and chemistry, whatever the chemical nature it is having, scandium, it is similar to the lanthanides. Okay, lanthanides series is from your 58 to 71. Okay, so and your actinide series is your from your what? Your 90 to 103. So scandium will resemble to the lanthanide series. Okay, titanium, it's a excellent structure material. It is very lightweight. It is having weight very less. Vanadium, mostly in alloys with other metals. It will form alloys with other metals. Okay, chromium, it is important material. Chromium is very important industrial material, or it is also sometimes used as some coloring reagent. Okay, in formation of your precipitation titration. Okay, chromium is acting as indicator in your precipitation titration. Just remember which of the following transition element is used as indicator in your precipitation titration. Answer is your chromium. Manganese, production of hard steel. Okay, it is manganese is able to produce hard steel. These are the 3D transition elements. Okay, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, all the properties I am telling you. Iron, most abundant heavy metal. Okay, so question will come, which of the 3D element is having highest abundance? Which one? Manganese. Iron. Iron is having highest abundance. Okay, cobalt, it will form alloys with other metals. Nickel, plating more active metals. Okay, nickel plating is given on it is having high conducting power, you can say. Nickel is having high conducting power. So question will come, which of the three, I'm asking you some question to you, just you right now you answer to me. Which of the following element is having similar with your lanthanide series? Tell me. Which of the element is having similarity, chemistry or similarity with lanthanide series? Anybody? Scandium. Now tell me one question. Which of the 3D element is having higher abundance or highest abundance? Which of the following element is having highest abundance? Abundance means what? Natural occurrence. How much? How it is occurred in naturally? How much percentage? Okay. Whether if it is available in more percentage, you can say the answer is more. Okay. So tell me the answer. Which of the following element is having your highest abundance? Which of the 3D elements is having? Okay, very good. Iron. Now one more question. Which of the element 3D series is used as indicator in precipitation titration? Anybody? Okay. Which one that is? Yes, very good. Chromium. And that too it is used in one of the method in precipitation titration, that is called your Morse method. What is that? It's R apostrophe S method. So question will come, which of the 3D element is used as indicator in Morse method of precipitation titration? So answer is your chromium. Okay. Now, Morse method, that is Morse, M-O-H-R-S. I'm writing here. So write down here. M-O-H-R method. Which of the element is used as indicator in Morse method of precipitation titration? So the answer is your chromium. Got my point? All of you got my point or not? Yes, very good. Now, yes, you check your system. Now it is audible. All the people are able to hear me. Are able to hear me or not? Tell me. Not able to hear me? As you can see here, as I shown you some 3D elements or 3D metals series metals, different characteristics as I have shown you. Okay, some of the properties as I have shown you for different elements, like your scandium down the series, you can see resemble to lanthanide. Vanadium, it's mostly form alloys, vanadium, and your form some alloys. Okay, chromium, it is forming your industrial applications. Okay, iron, it is most abundant. Okay, copper, it is used for plumbing work and electrical applications. Copper is having copperware you are using in electrical applications. Zinc, it is used in galvanizing the steel. Okay. Then we'll see oxidation state and species for vanadium in aqueous solution. In aqueous solution, what are the oxidation state of vanadium? We'll see right now. Okay. As you can see here, V3 plus V2 plus. So these are the different oxidation state of vanadium in aqueous solution. As you can see, it shows plus 5, plus 4, plus 3, and plus 2. 4 different oxidation state it shows. Vanadium, it shows yellow color also when 2 plus, and it shows blue color when it stays plus. It shows bluish green color when it stays in V3 plus oxidation state, and in V2 plus oxidation state it shows violet color. So these are the different colors it shows vanadium. So you can remember also, you can note down also all these values. Okay. Now, are you writing? Or no need all this, or you can follow from my videos. Okay, shall I move to the next slide? If you're writing, no problem. State of vanadium and what color it shows in different oxidation state. When the oxidation state is 5, it shows yellow color. When the oxidation state is 4, it shows blue color. When the 3, it is showing bluish green, and when the oxidation state is plus 2, it is showing violet color. Have you written? Okay. Now, typical chromium compounds. Oxidation state of chromium is plus 2, plus 3, plus 6. In these three, as I have shown you, when it is plus 2 CrX2, it is forming compound. Plus 3 CrX3, Cr2O3, CrOH whole 3. So these are the color it is producing. In plus 3 oxidation state, it is showing. In plus 6 oxidation state, it is showing orange, yellow, and red color. Okay. K2Cr2O7, Na2CrO4, and CrO3, red, chromium trioxide. So it stays in a red color. So these are the different oxidation state and different color for chromium. Okay. Now some compounds of manganese, and in its more plus 2, that is MnOH whole 2, that is manganese hydroxide. It stays in pink color. Manganese sulfide, it salmon color. Manganese sulfate, plus 4 when it is showing dark brown color, plus 7 when it is showing purple color. Okay, these are the different color for manganese. Okay, then typical compounds of iron, as you can see, for iron, 3 different oxidation state, as you see, +2 ferrous state, ferric state, +3. Okay, +2 and +3 mixture. When both ferrous and ferric form will be there, the color will be black. Okay, example K, Fe, FeCN6, there is D blue and Prussian blue. Blue, Fe3O4, it will be, well, it may either black or so deep blue or Prussian blue. Okay, and in case of +3 oxidation state, the color will be like that: brownish black, reddish brown, or red or red. Okay, these are the different colors. We'll move to the cobalt. As you can see, different +2 state, it can say in different color, like your dark blue, black, greenish. You can see these are the different colors. Okay, now for nickel, different oxidation state. In nickel chloride, as you can see, yellow. Nickel hydrate. Okay, uh, typical compounds of copper, as you can see, cuprous and cupric. This is cuprous form. In cuprous form, it is red, as either a red, either it can stay black or it can stay white. In cupric state, it can stay black or blue or green or blue. These things. Okay. Alloys, as you can see, different alloys are there: brass, bronze, sterling silver, gold, 18 karat of your copper. Okay, in gold also copper it stays, but what variety? 18 karat gold. In that copper is present. What is the composition of copper in gold 18 karat? The copper composition is your 5 to 15%. Okay, gold is your 75%. Okay, silver is 10 to 20%. So you have to remember all these compositions. In brass, composition of your copper 20 to 97%. In bronze, it is 50 to 98%. Okay. Then in copper, in your silver, 7.5%. Gold, this is 5 to 15%. In gold, 14 karat, 8%. So question will come like that: in which variety of gold the copper composition is more? Can you tell me in which variety of gold copper composition is more? Tell me. In which variety of gold the copper composition is more? Okay, 14 karat. In which alloy of copper more? In which alloy of copper the copper composition is more? Now I'll see what you have listening and what you have remembered. Okay, so answer will be yes, or bronze. Remind. Should be careful. See, brass, it is 20 to 97% only. Yes, right. No, bronze, as I told, 50 to 98%. So which composition is more? In case of what? Which is your correct answer? In which of the alloy copper composition is more? Nobody. After showing, also you're not able to answer? No. Right. Okay, very good. Now you have remembered. So these are the very important part. So you want to write the compositions? Now, coordinations compound, okay, are typically consist of complex ion and counter ions. As I told you, counter ions, that is nothing but your ligand. Okay, that may be ligand, or it may be a your water soluble ligand, that is your what is that? Your sequestering agent. Bonds formed between the metal ion and the ligands in the complex ion. As you can see, uh, uh, in case of your, as I told you, that one cobalt ammonia complex. Okay, cobalt ammonia chloride complex. Tell me what is the coordination number of cobalt? Anybody? Coordination number you have understood? Means how many bonds it is forming. Okay, how many bonds it is forming with the ligands. Now my coordination number of cobalt. Anybody? Now we'll see the answer. 6. Very good. And it's mostly your 6 to 4 and 2 and 8. Least common. This is very less, but or it is showing the coordinate from 4 to 6. Okay. ligands, as I told. What is that ligand? Neutral molecule or ion having a lone electron pair that can be used to form a bond to a metal ion, as I told. And depending upon the binding site, it is of different types. Okay, monodentate ligand means what? It is having only one binding site. Bidentate ligand means it is having two binding sites. So can you tell me from that EDTA is how many, means what type of ligand it is? Monodentate or bidentate? Type of ligand it is? EDTA, I mean tetraacetic acid. Can you tell me whether what type of ligand it is? Bidentate, okay. Just imagine how much, what is the coordination, how many types of binding site it is having? Can you tell me? Can you draw the structure? I'm showing you the structure. Ethylene molecule is there. Diamine. Okay. So this is the EDTA molecule. So 4 different types of sites are there. Here CH2, COH, 2COH. Here also same CH2COH. Here also CH2COH. So now you can tell what is the binding site of EDTA. How many are there? 6 sites. Still, I have drawn the structure. From this you can say how many binding sites EDTA is having. How many binding sites EDTA is having? Vidya is telling 2. Diksha, how many? 6. Where are those hexadentate? What are those hexadentate? Which we can call hexadentate? Attached. 2 from nitro from acetic acid. Very good. So this is called hexadentate compound. Okay. Now, okay. Now, coordinate covalent bond. As you can say, bidentate ligand, ethylene diamine, and monodentate ligand, ammonia. Ethylene diamine, it's a bit, and the monodentate ligand of ammonia, you can see here. NH3 molecule is there. Okay. As you can see, this is CH2 ethylene diamine. So it is having how many? 2. It is bidentate. So it is reacting with this metal complex. So it is forming one metal complex. As you, this is a monodentate ammonia. Ammonia is having one lone pair of electrons. So it is having only one binding site. So it is monodentate. So it is monodentate. This is bidentate. Okay. Now, coordination 2 metal ion. As you can see here. Okay. Tetraacetate. Rules for coordination or naming coordination compounds. Okay. Cation is named before the anion. Okay. Cation is named before the anion. What is the rule it says? Cation means what? Cathode ion. It is positive in nature. Positive ions will be named first. After that, negative ions will be named. Okay. So cation will be named first. Next, the anion. So chloride goes last. Chloride is the negative ions. So negative ions will be given preference 1. Your preference is your cation will be named first, anion will be next. Okay. As you for the metal ions. Okay. Before the metal ions, so name the ligand. Okay. Now, ammonia we can use as amine, and chlorine, chloro, we can name it as chloro before cobalt. Okay. Now, can you tell me the name of this compound? And for negatively charged ligands, as I have told you, oxygen is added to the root name of chloro on this. Okay. And the prefix like your mono, di, tri, etc. are used denote the number of simple ligands. Okay, pentaamine. Okay, so like that. Here these 5 amines are there. In that case, we can use that one. So you can write now what is the name of this compound. The oxidation state of the metal ion is designated by a Roman numerical. So we have to write as a Roman numerical the okay. Now you tell me this is your cobalt 3. So this is the Roman. We can say CO. So cobalt is the central atom and attached to the what? 6 nitrogen sorry 5 ammonia atoms and 1 chlorine atom. Okay. So when more alphabetically we have to write. Okay. Pentaamino-chlorine. Okay, chloro. So here two different means what ligands are there, you can say. So you can name it as your first the letter is start is your C. Alphabetically you have to write. So 5 your pentaamino-chloro. Okay, pentaamine-chloro. Alphabetically you can write down. Okay, and what will be the name of this compound? Can you tell me? What is the name of this compound? Penta cobalt 3. Very good. 3 chlorine. Chlorine or chloride? Tell me. Penta-amino-chlorine. Yes. Pentaride. Penta-amino-chlorobalt chloride. Okay. Now understood how to name. The current name is okay. Very good. Penta-amino-chlorocobalt 3 chloride. Very good. Okay. So now. So these are the naming of your coordinated compound. Okay.